Hey everybody, it's Chris Thompson here from Property Portal Marketing and Property Share Network. And I'm here with John Clarke from Sapphire Properties. And we're going to have a discussion around COVID and obviously how it's affecting the overseas industry at the moment. So John, do you want to give us a little intro just about you and
yeah. Yeah, no problem. As Chris has said, my name's John Clarke. My wife Sue and I own Sapphire Properties in Ciudad Quesada, probably about half an hour, 40 minutes south of Alicante. Family-owned firm, been established 15 years. My wife and I have owned it the last 6. We were actually former clients of Sapphire Properties, bought an apartment out here in Spain. Sapphire were the agent that we went with. Became good friends with the former owners, and when they decided to retire, they offered us the chance to buy into the business, and obviously we said yes, because for the last 6 years here we are. So it's been a good 6 years.
Good, and you're reaping the rewards of the Spanish lifestyle.
Yes. Well, it depends what you say. Reaping the rewards. Luckily, I was bored before I left the UK. So the loss of hair has nothing to do with the Spanish lifestyle. Probably something to do with the stress. But yeah, it's been good. Living out here and running our own business has been good for us. Of course, it's got challenges. Probably no more so than this year. But by the same token, it's also got rewards. It's given us a standard of life that 10 years ago, Chris, if somebody had said that I'd have been owning my own business and working in Spain, then I would have said that they were mad, to be perfectly frank. But yeah, here we are. Certainly no regrets, none whatsoever. Good.
That's really, really good to hear. And of course, you're a board member of the AIPP as well, aren't you?
I am. Yes. I'm heavily involved in the AIPP. The company were one of the founder members of the AIPP. As soon as I took over the business, I spoke to Peter Robinson and said that I wanted to be more involved in the AIPP. My background had nothing to do with estate agency, so I wanted to get more involved for my own, to increase my own knowledge. I was actually the AIPP's first ever regional ambassador for the Costa Blanca.
Good.
And then I decided, I've always been one of the people that said if you're going to do things, you do them properly. So I applied to become a board member a couple of years ago, got elected on, and literally only this afternoon, only about 20 minutes ago, I've just had the result of this year's board elections, and I've been re-elected to serve for another couple of years. So yeah, it's been good because it just shows that there are a lot of good agents out there, and you can network with them and everybody that's involved in the AIPP. I certainly think personally, I'd recommend the AIPP to any agent. I don't see the point in not being a member. I think you're far better being in it than you are out of it.
Good. Well, look, I mean, if anyone wants more info on the AIPP, of course, you can go get direct to their website, or you can have a chat with John. So let's talk about that big virus that's out there at the moment, COVID. I think we're at that stage where we can look back on the past 9 months, and when it's mentioned, have a bit of a chuckle about it. I mean, it's a subject that, well, it's tragic, isn't it, to say the least?
Yeah, I think when you say have a chuckle, I think first thing we all have to acknowledge is sadly there have been people that have lost their lives to this.
Yes, there have.
At first I didn't know. Luckily, I still don't know anyone that's lost their life, but I do know people that have suffered from the virus. My eldest son is a nurse in a COVID ward back in London, and he has been diagnosed with it. He has come through the other side, and he's fine. But yeah, I think first things first, we just have to sort of say, respect and condolences to all those that have suffered, either directly or indirectly. It's been rather an odd, stressful 8 or 9 months, isn't it?
It has, yeah, it has, and I would definitely back you up on that one. For anyone that has suffered from it, or as a result lost people as a result of it, definitely. So how has COVID changed or affected your business over the last 9 months?
I think people have become more cautious. We have lost some inspection trips. We had a number of people that were due to come out. 2 of them were cancelled because they were due to be in the first lockdown in Spain. I'm beginning to think if that was April or May. It was such a long time ago now. So there has been, yes, we have lost some inspection trips. We've got a number of people that, by the same token, have just delayed things. I don't think it's actually going to be necessarily a bad thing, in all honesty. I think the market will recover. We had, like I say, we've lost some inspection trips, but they've only been delayed. We haven't actually cancelled them. You know, I think what it's done is strengthened people's resolve to, you know, seize the moment. Carpe diem. Life is for living. And I think it's going to be hopefully not too long before we start coming through the other side.
And have you made sales over the last 9 months, John?
We've actually had more completions this year than we did in 2019, which is fantastic. Okay. You know, really I mean, I have to say, testament to my colleagues, my wife Sue, Jackie, and Chris back in the office. They've been Trojans. They really have been fantastic for us. So yeah, we've had only by a couple. You know, don't get me wrong. We've not smashed last year out of the ballpark. Far from it. But we've had more completions this year than we did last year. And I think that part of that is because when the first lockdown was listed, people thought, you know what, come on, let's do it. You know, life's for living, sort of thing. And we don't know, none of us know what tomorrow holds. So yeah, in that respect, it has been a good year for us.
Good. So talking about clients then, how has it sort of affected your clients? I mean, has anyone been put off by COVID, do you think?
No, not from what we're seeing, Chris. No, I think what it's done, as I say, it's just adjusted their timescales. It's just adjusted the time frame in which they're looking. There's a former colleague of mine from when I worked back up in West Yorkshire. I've got to be going back 20 odd years. He was one of the people that was coming out on an inspection trip. He was actually going to stay here at our villa, and obviously was unable to travel. It wasn't that he didn't want to; it was that he was unable to. And his attitude was, John, as soon as I can come over and spend a week with you in a relaxed environment and do everything at his pace, he's going to do it. We've got probably about a dozen people that are tentatively looking at coming over on inspection trips next year. Sorry, not a dozen, half a dozen. We've got about half a dozen clients that are looking at coming over on inspection trips next year. As soon as, God willing, the vaccine, I've seen today that, well, I think the Pfizer vaccine has had a 95% success rate in clinical trials today.
Yeah.
Once people's fear factor about the virus has started to soften, for want of a better description, then I think things will start to return to normal.
Do you offer your villa for everyone who's coming over?
No, you can stay at a hotel.
Thanks for that.
No, I mean, this gentleman in particular, he actually, we'd worked together when I first met my wife and moved to West Yorkshire 30 years ago. I know I don't look that old, but sadly I am. We'd worked together for 10 or so years. So, you know, we spent many a good time in each other's company. So I was actually looking forward to having more of a reunion. As much as doing the work side of things, there was also going to be a big personal element to it.
Yeah.
But you know, like I say, it's been put on hold. We've frozen it for the time being, you know, and hopefully 2021 he'll be able to come out.
Yeah, I think the really good thing at the moment is that as you say, people are not saying that they don't want to buy. People, you know, people really do want to buy.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the big thing, and for me, as you know, as I'm in the industry as well as you know, is there will be a mini boom.
I think there will.
That is going to happen. I think there will. People are going to come and buy. So
it's unknown as to when, but I think, like I say, I think it's made a lot of people sit there and think, and a lot of people that maybe have been sat on the fence, and we all know clients that have been sat on the fence for many years. We sold a property 2 years ago to a gentleman that was first looking in this region over 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's taken him 10 years to find the property that he wanted. I met him socially when the former owner of Sapphire Properties and I went for a drink. We went to watch football one Saturday afternoon, and this client was there. And it took that long to decide what he wanted that the former owner of the business had sold it to me. So it was just, hopefully people aren't going to sit on the fence that long. But I do think that people will start to think, you know what, like we said earlier on, seize the moment. Life's a living.
I think the other thing with that especially is it's key to keep in contact with clients.
Yes.
Even during, a pandemic like this, it's very, very key. So talking about sort of clients and marketing and things like that, has COVID changed the way that you've had to work? Like, have you had to adapt your marketing strategy?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, this year we've had 2 of the sales this year have been via a video conference, very similar to this, where the clients run our office, they've seen something on our website, felt a little bit unsafe about coming over, and said, can you go and video it for me, on Zoom, on WhatsApp, on Skype or whatever. And we've had 2 sales this year where people have actually bought the property and all they've seen it on is their laptop screen, their PC screen, their iPad screen. One of the gentlemen that bought hadn't even been to this region of Spain.
Wow.
Had a friend, a former colleague of his has lived here 10, 15 years and works for one of the local insurance companies, and just asked me to go and video the property with him. The first time I ever spoke to him, the first time I met him was at Alicante Airport when I picked him up. And that was the first time he'd seen the property, was literally on the way back from the airport. But by then, he'd already signed the contract, sent over his 10%. He'd literally come over to meet his solicitor, open the bank account, meet the currency company. Yeah. He'd actually seen the property on the iPad, videoed it with me, or I videoed it with him on the iPad, put his offer in, and it was accepted.
Wow.
So yeah, it's of course it's forced all of us to rethink about how we market things. It's given us time to think about our marketing strategy and change our marketing strategy. So we're thinking of putting more videos of properties on our website. Certainly the ones where if they're getting regular hits or you're getting regular inquiries about them, then why not put a video on there?
Yeah, good. And what about portals and social media? How are you getting on with that?
We've stuck with the same portals that we were already on.
Okay.
Because we're a family-owned company, so we haven't got a big advertising budget. And at the start of the year, we decide what our advertising budget is, and 99% of the time we stick to that. We stick very, very tightly to that. So we decided to stay with the portals we were on. But what we have done, and this is where you've been instrumental and helped us, is we've certainly increased our awareness on social media and Facebook. We're putting regular updates on Facebook, not just of new properties, but when you get a happy client and you give them the keys in one hand and a bottle of champagne in the other, and it's all smiles. It's nice things to put on your website. It is because
I need to buy with you.
You do, and you need to do it quickly before any of my peers do. Yeah, please, by all means, do. But it's nice, because it's when people can see that there are good news stories out there. It's not at the moment. People back in the UK, my son and his wife have been out of the house for 2 weeks, because they're in the lockdown. Yeah. And my son's going absolutely spare. My 3-year-old grandson's driving him up the wall. Other people can use that time more productively to start searching on the portals. So we haven't, to go back to your original question, no, we haven't increased the number of portals we're on. That was from a budgetary point of view. Had we have known that we were going to sell more properties this year than we did last year, then yeah, we could have done so. But you've also got to be risk aware. It could have been the complete opposite for us. We could have sold nothing for the rest of the year. Yeah. And if we'd have increased our portal marketing, you've still got to pay for that. So we took maybe a conservative approach. And for us, it's worked out fine.
Good. Well, I'm really glad about that, actually. I think the key,
thank you.
The key thing to take from this is to continue advertising, even if things are quiet, even if things are tough. I personally, I don't think it's worth pulling out the market altogether. You've got to be proactive.
No. I think there are 2 things. Continue advertising at a budget and a rate that you feel comfortable with, so you're not risking any future of you, any future prospects for your company. But something you touched on earlier on is regular contact with the client, just giving them a call, every couple of weeks. If they say to you, please don't give me a call for another month or two, then fine, adhere to that. You don't want to alienate them. But by the same token, a quick phone call, quick email, WhatsApp, there's loads of methodologies out there now to keep in contact with your clients. And it just shows them that you're still there, you're still thinking about them.
And I know that you do email marketing as well. I've received a few of them. Probably more than a few over the years, John. But I know that you do that as well, and
we do.
That's a great way.
We have a fortnightly newsletter to go out to all our clients, and that's harder than it seems, because you've got to try and continually think of fresh topics. You can't just always pick Casada, where I live, because if people aren't interested in Casada, then they're not going to be bothered about getting an email about it. So it's the worst thing is continually trying to think of new topics that you think will engage with your client base. But we've done fortnightly newsletters. Sometimes we do a newsletter and there's literally not a property on there, but it's just letting them know what the latest is in Spain. If there's been a big fiesta or a big festival, just let people know that you're still there.
Good. So let's switch it over to more of a vendor side now, because obviously, let's be honest, they're just as important as clients who are looking to buy. So I've seen and I've heard a lot of agents and even a lot of people talking about property prices dropping as a result of COVID. So are you seeing that as well?
No. Okay. In all honesty, no. I've heard similar things, but no, I've not actually seen a great deal of tangible evidence for that, in all honesty, mate. I think what has helped the market retain the price it is, certainly from vendors that are British and are going back to the UK, is the exchange rate. The exchange rate has dropped to probably one of the lowest I've seen it in 4 or 5, maybe 6 years. Whether that's due to Brexit, I think it is primarily due to Brexit, as well as COVID. There's been a lot of uncertainty in the market this year. So offers that Mr. and Mrs. Smith, who are selling up and going back to the UK, offers that they would have rejected this time last year, they're now minded to accept because the exchange rate's better for them. They're getting more sterling for the euro. So the €150,000 offer that they would have rejected last year is now worth more to them in sterling than it was last year. So no, yes, obviously that's only going to affect British vendors. But at the moment, no, we've not seen much tangible evidence of the market seems to be holding steady from what we've seen.
Good. I think the other thing to add to that as well is going back to our original point about demand. I mean, with demand still being so high, there isn't a reason for people to drop their prices. No. Unless, of course, they're in a desperate situation. But
we're adding properties to our portfolio on a weekly basis. We're getting 1 or 2 new listings per week.
Good.
We're fortunate. We advertise. One of our former clients is a DJ on one of the local radio stations, and we struck a deal with that radio station to have a featured property of the week. So that's brought us a lot of business. We've had somebody in the office today who already lives here. They're an expat from Birmingham, but they already live here. Heard our featured property of the week this week. We're viewing it with them on Saturday, but they've also said to us, well, in order to buy that, we need to sell ours. So that's been a win-win situation for us,
Yeah.
So
and they're in Spain, are they?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
They already live in Spain, so that's been beneficial, very beneficial.
Double whammy. Good.
Yeah.
Excellent. So talking about the future then, because obviously that's important. How quickly do you think the market will recover? I mean, I know that we've both talked about there being a mini boom, and I suppose it depends on how long a piece of string is for these restrictions to lift. But what are your thoughts on a recovery?
I personally think as soon as there's a vaccine, which is, let's be honest, that's nothing that our industry is going to control. I think as soon as there's a vaccine and people feel safe about coming over, then I think we're going to be run off our feet. Personally, again, that's something that we can't control. But personally, I think there's going to be, like I say, people wanting to come out on inspection trips next year. The message we're getting told is, as soon as I can travel, I'm travelling. So it's to answer your question, yeah, it is how long is a piece of string. But as soon as we know how long that piece of string is, then I think we're going to be very, very busy people at the end of it.
Good. And just a question off the top of my head here. I know I'm going to go a little bit off script, but what do you think about the chances of this ever happening are very, very slim. But what do you think about the argument surrounding essential reasons? Do you believe that buying or selling a property could potentially fall under that category in order to kickstart an industry which we know is detrimental to the economy?
No, because people's reasons vary. People's personal circumstances vary, So no, I don't think there will be. I mean, it's like I said earlier on, when we bought our apartment 12 years ago, if somebody had said to me that within 4 or 5 years I'd have walked away from an industry that I've been in almost 30 years, man and boy, said goodbye to my 2 adult sons and moved to Spain, no, but you never know what tomorrow holds for any of us. If we could all tell the future, then I dare suspect that the winning lottery ticket wouldn't have that much money on it, because there'd be thousands of people that would have those numbers, So you win the lottery.
I'll take a quid from the lottery at the minute, the amount of times I play and have a
Well, the thing is, I'm not being funny. If we all knew what next week's lottery numbers were, then every AIPP member would do those same numbers and we'd probably all win about €2 each. So what would be the point? But no, I think it's just a case of sitting tight and being patient and just carry on doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yes, there's been, unfortunately, you can't control the media. You've got no way of controlling the fear factor and the fear stories that are spread by the media. But hand on heart, we've not seen much disruption to the market this year.
That's good. No, that's really positive, and there's some really good messages coming out of this as well, I think. So, again, talking about the future, do you think that COVID will change maybe how people buy in sort of the next couple of years to come?
Possibly, yeah. I think we always urge our clients to take their time. The 2 properties that we sold this year via a video call, I'll be honest, petrified me. A sale's a sale. You could argue that a sale's a sale, but a company of our size, like I say, we're a family-owned business. We haven't got a big budget. There's not a lot of us. We've got one small office in the heart of Quesada. Our reputation is worth more. The way I look at things, my reputation as the company is worth more than one sale. So we always urge our clients to look at a property twice. Don't just walk in and make your mind up like that, because mistakes can happen. We've had people in the past say to me, "Oh, I've got to put an offer in today." Why do you have to do it today? Well, the sun's shining. With respect, this is the Costa Blanca. It pretty much shines here 330, 320, 330 days a year, So I think people might be a little bit more excitable and want to do things quicker. Personally, I think the responsible agents should continue what they've always done and just, encourage people to take their time, ask the right questions, seek the independent advice from your lawyer, talk to the currency companies. I got asked this morning, what do we think the pound's going to do over the next couple of weeks? I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea, because I'm not in the currency exchange market. That's when you need to go and talk to your chosen currency partner, So I think people may become a little bit excited, and I think it's our job as responsible agents just to manage that excitement and make sure that they still make the right decision.
Do you think there will potentially be more people that are going to want a different type of lifestyle as a result of COVID? I mean, yeah. If we look at
I personally do, now, yes.
I
personally do.
Okay.
we've seen and heard firsthand this year, like I said earlier on, people that have been thinking about the move. You know, we've had a number of people saying, "Oh, I've been thinking about it for so long," and this has finally made them realise that nobody knows what tomorrow holds. So we've had one client in particular who said his plan was to buy and keep it as a holiday home. Having bought, he was out here living here within months.
Wow.
No, that's it, done. Goodbye to the UK. Nothing wrong with the UK,
Yeah.
but it made him realise that, you know, sadly we're all only here for a short space of time, and none of us know how long that is. I don't want to get too down and melancholy, but you know, nobody knows what the future holds.
No.
So I think there will be a lot of people making big, important life choices, and I think that the industry we're in will benefit from that.
I agree totally. I think the other thing as well is down to COVID again. A lot of employers are looking at more efficient ways of working. One of the things as a result of that, of course, is working from home, working remotely. I mean, you and me are on a Zoom. I'm in Denmark, you're in Spain.
Yeah.
So again, I think a lot of the messages that are coming out, certainly from agents, and I'm beginning to see it a lot more myself, and I'm sort of advising clients to do the same, is start talking about the lifestyle rather than the property itself.
Yeah, the lifestyle over here is completely different. Completely different. You know, it's more relaxed. It's more enjoyable. I'm sat here in one of the bedrooms in our villa. It's 5:15 local time, and I've got the window wide open. Now, I dare say if I was back in West Yorkshire, if I had the window open, I'd probably have to have an overcoat on or a jumper, you know. So it's true, you know, it's true. It's our first Christmas here 6 years ago. My wife and I went for a walk along the beach on Christmas Day, and thousands. If you go down to Lasagna Beach on Christmas Day, there are thousands of expats there. They have carol services and all sorts. It's bizarre to see. You know, you got all the traditional carols about snow is falling all around me, and it's 24 degrees out there. You know, it's not quite the same listening to Christmas carols about Frosty the Snowman when you know the poor snowman would melt within 20 minutes. So you are selling a completely different lifestyle to people. A completely different lifestyle. And going back to what you were saying about the video conferencing, when we were during the first lockdown, my wife and I did work from home, and I did have some Zoom conversation with clients. Not all of them, because some of them haven't got the technology. If it was, without wanting to sound ageist, my wife's parents, we Skype them or video chat to them twice a week, and every single time it takes us 5 minutes to get the conversation up and running, because they're in their late 70s. My mother-in-law's 80 years of age, you know, and video conferencing is something that she'll probably never get her head round, you know. But people of our age, and all right, you're a little bit younger than me, it is something that they are aware of, they are adaptable to, and that's something that again we can bring into our market, and it's better for us. For a start, the client can see who you are. You know, they can see that you are a real life person. You're not just an automated system churning out emails. Here you are, warts and all. It's not. At times it's not pretty, but it is genuine. It is. You know, you are a real life person. I've got exactly the same concerns and fears that my clients back in the UK have got. Am I going to earn enough money this month to pay my mortgage? Are my family safe? Blah 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 blah. You know, what am I going to cook my wife for a meal tonight? Those concerns over here. You what? Sorry.
You do the cooking.
I do the cooking. Yeah, it is the only thing I do around the house to help. I have to say.
Need to come to your house, honestly.
You what? Sorry.
I said I really need to come to your house.
No, you don't. But yeah, we have the same concerns, but the lifestyle out here is so much more relaxed. So much. There's so much more to enjoy out here. You know, don't get me wrong. I love the UK. Very, very passionate Englishman. Very passionate Englishman. But like I say, when you can, do I have bad days at work here? Of course I do. Of course I do. a sale falls through or a problem with one of our rental properties, of course I have a bad day at work. It's not, you know, it's not all rainbows and flowers. But when you have a bad day at work and you can come home and say, do you know what, before I do anything else, I'm going to jump in the car, I'm going to walk along the beach for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, and just walk along the beach, stop. It just makes you realise that you're actually in a very, very fortunate position to be here in the first place.
Yeah.
So it is that lifestyle change that we're trying to emphasise to the clients.
And I think that's going to be massive, just as a point moving forward as well. So, yeah, good. All right. Well, do I dare mention Brexit and COVID together, or do we avoid that altogether?
Well, you've mentioned it now, haven't you? Really?
I think the point that I think the and this is a sort of a dull point, but I think it's worth mentioning that the beginning of the year, I think all agents were excited about the year ahead, because we all sort of thought, and I'm not an agent myself, but I talk to agents a lot of the time. And I think the thinking was that because Brexit was happening this year, it would really be a bumper year for sales.
Yeah,
I agree with that. COVID just hit at the wrong time. Yeah,
the first quarter of the year, our first quarter this year was probably one of the best, if not the best quarters we've had in the last 6 years.
Yeah.
And we were thinking, fantastic. You know, it's the last 18 months prior to that, Brexit had put a bit of a fear factor in the market because nobody knew what was going to happen. Nobody knew when it was going to happen, you know. Suddenly it was like, right, end of 2020, we're out, and you could see that progress was slowly being made on it, and it did bring some confidence back to the market. Then suddenly, you know, this virus hits us, and it knocked the stuffing out of things for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think now that we've got the vaccine for that, and now that hopefully over the next 5 or 6 weeks, Boris and his government can reach an agreement that all parties are happy with, then I think next year again, I think it's may not be as quick as some of us would like, but I still think we could be in for a good year next year. It may not be for the first couple of months, you know, but I do think that this time next year we'll look back and think, okay, that's been another good year.
We'll have another chat this time next year.
I'll speak to you before then. You're a bit of a pest, mate, aren't you? Really, you're on the phone all the time.
I'm only doing what I can for the industry, mate. Look, I think there are some positives in what is currently a dark world. You know, let's be honest. There are a lot of positives to take from what people are currently doing. There are a lot of positives looking ahead to the future. And I think what's key is staying safe and staying positive, and things should work out in the end.
I think one of the things that we've seen this year is a greater desire amongst agents to work with each other. You know, it has been united we stand, divided we fall.
Yeah.
We're happy to work in collaboration and partnership with a number of agents, and we have done. We always have done. But that's increased this year. You know, we've seen agents certainly opening their doors to each other more and more and more, because at the end of the day, if I can get half a commission rather than none, fine, I'm going to do that. You know, there are times when I've been sat in my desk, agents have come in that we've worked with and known for a number of years. Off they go with their client to the viewing. We don't have to accompany all of them. We do accompany some, but we don't accompany all. It depends the individual relationship you've got with that agent. But yeah, there's been times where I've sat in my office drinking my coffee, answering my emails, and I come 5 minutes later, another agent's come back and a property sold, and I've got half the commission in the bank, and I've been sat there, you know, chatting to you or whatever. So I think, a positive that has come out of this is agents working alongside each other. Property sharing platforms have been a bonus.
Okay.
Because I think we've all sort of come to the realization that we need to start sharing properties with each other, you know, because it's in our best interest.
Yeah.
And I think it actually, I personally think it shows the client that we can work together. You know, that we are, there are good guys out here, and we are all working together.
Well, I think I think to add to that as well, the other thing it shows to your client is that you're doing everything in your power to find that client exactly what they want.
Yeah,
And
it is, without a doubt.
They stay with you. It's a way of building loyalty as well, I think.
It is a way of building loyalty. I mean, we've got a number of clients that have gone on to become very, very, very good friends in a similar way to the way Sue and I did with the former owners of Sapphire. You know, that they were fantastic. They took us to the bank, they took us to the solicitor, they took us to the currency company and explained what was happening all the way along. My wife Sue and I we've always been brought up to show our appreciation. So when we actually got the keys to our apartment back in 2009, the first thing we done was run the former owner of Sapphire and said, we'd like to take you out for a meal just to say thank you. You know, yes, he'd already been paid by the vendor and hadn't forgotten about us, but, you know, was moving on to his next client. But it was the way that we wanted to show our appreciation. And we've had that with a number of our clients, I mean, we've had clients invite us to their wedding, for crying out loud. Honestly, God. Yeah. Clients have become such good friends that the next thing you know, you're flying back to Manchester to go to a wedding.
Yeah.
But that's because I think we do things the right way. Don't get me wrong, this isn't the Sapphire Properties Roadshow. We're not the only agents that do this, but we do take them to the bank. We do take them to the solicitors. We do take them to the currency company. You know, if they've already got their own and they want to go with their chosen one, that's fine. That's not a problem. But we literally, it's like a hand-holding process, really, because it takes the fear out of it, Chris, because buying a property is daunting anyway. Yeah. Buying a property overseas where the laws are different and there are so many horror stories out there, it's a great feeling when you're able to give them the keys at the end and say, there you go, all those fears that you had X amount of weeks ago, forget them, that's yours. That house is yours. Congratulations, invite me round to the first barbecue and, you know, move on.
And I'll jump in your pool.
Yeah, by all means. I wouldn't at the moment, mate, it's a bit chilly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it'll be fine.
Probably warmer than it is in Denmark.
Yeah, definitely, mate. It's pitch black here at the moment. We'll get there though. We'll get there.
Yeah,
Good.
we will.
So if any agents or indeed any potential clients are watching this, where can they go for information? What's your website?
Our website is www.sapphireproperties.co.uk. If people want to email me, it's John, John, at sapphireproperties.co.uk. And yeah, I'll happily talk to and collaborate with any of our peers out there.
Good. And of course, if any agents want any information on property marketing, email marketing, XML feeds, or anything like that, they can also come to me as well. It's Chris Thompson, and it's www.propertyportalmarketing.com. John, it's been a pleasure speaking to you as always, mate. Thank you.
Likewise, mate.
And I'm sure we'll speak again soon.
Yeah, you take care. And if it's the last chance I get to speak to any of my colleagues and peers out there, then hope you've all had a good year. Have a great Christmas and New Year, and we'll see you in 2021.
Perfect. Take care now, John.
Okay. Cheers, Chris. Bye, mate.
Cheers.